And we're back for another episode. In this episode I'm going to be showing how I'm going towards 100 Carpenter Desynth, and I also have included in the description an extremely good guide towards desynthing for all crafts and what to do at endgame, how to do it cheaply and quickly and so on. It's a really amazing guide in the official forums, so please check it out. And it's what I've used personally in order to get from 1 to 90 plus Carpenter Desynth in only a couple of days. Now, the reason to level a Desynth craft is because it's the only way to get your hands on Demateria yourself. I mean, you could always buy it from the market board, but some of them are incredibly expensive. So one thing I've been doing now that I'm 90 plus is crafting these Carbuncle Chairs. Now, Carbuncle Chairs will get you all the way from like 86 to 100. They have a high chance of failure, but when they succeed, they will give you something like 0.3 to 0.5 increase, so really fast level ups even at 90 plus. And also, they can produce up to 2 Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs. And on my server on Sargatanis, they cost roughly 20,000, 25,000 gil each to make, so they're kind of cheap to make, given that they could potentially produce 500,000 gil worth of Demateria out of it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to desynth all the ones I crafted during this video and then see how far I get towards 100. And we can see what sort of results I get. There we go. A lot of these will blow up, but that's just natural. So we can see here, I got a 0.38 increase. Another 0. So it's on the first two, that's 0.66 increase, which has got me to 94.33 already. Yeah, it was inevitable that one of them was going to fail. I'm already at 95. So it can be painful to see them blow up, but then it's awesome when you get items worth 250,000 gil out of them as well, so it is balanced. That was a clear Demateria III, so never mind. Let's hope I get at least one by the end of this batch. Because in the last couple of days I've probably produced about 7 or 8 of the Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs from these chairs. So. I'm just really unlucky so far. Okay, so I've got the materials to make a couple more. Okay, continuing on. So I'm going to keep synthesizing these, and again I am using the Alicia Furniture Mac Pro, which I covered in the previous video. So given that this is a freestyle recipe, you need to have at least 391 craftsmanship and 374 control to make these. So the desynthesis and crafting do go kind of hand in hand. You have to be accomplished with crafting before you can get your desynthesis high up. If you want to do it realistically, as in. Now, the whole purpose of me doing this, as I said, is to get my hands on the Fieldcraft Demateria III, and this will offer a quicker way of doing it compared to the Artisan Spectacles I covered in another video, because in the Artisan Spectacle case, you'd have to craft 10 of them per attempt, whereas with these, I only have to craft one, and they're a lot quicker to make. So the time to craft one of these chairs is way quicker than to do, 10 of the spicy tomato relish every single time. And that's what I'm looking for, really, is I want a quick, consistent way of getting Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs, because I can't afford 250,000 gil. And one thing about this game when it comes to leveling, crafting, and getting your ability to do things, it's a constant reinvestment of gil. So you might start making lots of gil, but then you then have to respend it to get your materia melds done, to get the latest stuff, like for example in my case, Desynthesis. So there will always be certain gil sinks in this game that will require reinvestment, but the reason I do it is to then have the ability to get a quick and infinite number of Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs without having to buy them. It is all RNG. I mean, that's something you can't control, but still. I decided to go with Carpenter just because I've always liked Carpenter. I was a woodworker in Final Fantasy XI as well. And also in the thread that I linked in the description, you'll see that Carpenter is one of the best for producing Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs as well anyway. Okay, so there we go. I've got 5 more, so let's see what I get out of them. There, look at that. 2 Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs, so then it's like, well done, here's 500,000 gil. So desynthesize again. Blown up. So that will at least allow some compensation for what I've done. Now, the purpose of this, to get this to 100, is not to keep doing carbuncle chairs, because even at level 100 they only have a 70% chance to succeed. So you can see here I'm at 99.61. I will show you once I get to 100 what I'm actually going to be crafting. So we're now at 99.87, so one more desynthesis and I should get to 100. So if I make one more, so I need 1 mahogany lumber and 5 boar levers. Well, assuming it actually does it first time. I always recommend that you buy the raw materials and craft it yourself, because it will always be cheaper to do that. But do compare. So in my case, I could compare the price of mahogany logs to mahogany lumber, see which one's cheaper. But you always have to take into account the cost of these shards that you use. You shouldn't ignore that. Okay, I need 5 alumen. And you always, you can always go and gather these items yourself. If you're leveled up your gathering classes, and you have the time, please go do it. But in my case, I don't have the time, unfortunately. I use quick synthesis. So this is typically what I might be doing during a day, is just trying to level something, trying to move something forward all the time. And, you know, people ask me all the time, how have I done so much in the game? How have I accomplished so many things? And it's because I never stand still. There's always more things for me to be doing, more things to be crafting, to be achievements to be farming, and so on. I never stand still, and also because of the fact that I have my YouTube channel as well, it's a constant motivator to produce more content. Okay, so I need to make those mahogany lumbers. Okay, that's that done. So is that all we needed? Okay. So kind of hoping that this will succeed the first time. Though I do have enough lumbers and I can pick up 6 more levers to make a second chair if I need. So again, this trusty macro, which is so useful. Okay, so let's hope that this will actually produce a good result. If not, I have the materials to make one more. So 99.87. Let's hope this finishes me off to 100. Fingers crossed. Awesome. So there you go. I'm now 100 Carpenter Desynth. Now, what I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm not going to be making more Carbuncle Chairs, because even at 100, the success rate for Desynth is 70%. So, well, what I could do, I could just do one more, given I've got one more ruby. But then I'll show you what I'm actually intending to do with this. And one thing as well that you can do is you can desynth the items from the different hard mode primals, which are relevant to Carpenter, which in most cases are the Bard and Dragoon weapons. They tend to be the ones that have Carpenter. And the way you can tell is when you go over a weapon. I can see here, for example, this one says repair level blacksmith, which means it would be a blacksmith which would actually desynth it. Whichever repairs it also desynths it. Okay, so let me craft it again. Wrong button. Now, I have invested a lot of gil doing this. I mean, you know, maybe 2 days ago I had more than 6 million gil in my bank. Now I've only got 2.5. But the big but is that in my retainers on sale right now, I've got about 5 or 6 million gil worth of stuff for sale. So if they actually all sell, I'll have more gil than when I started, which is always the ideal position to be in. I've always said with crafting that as long as you make more money than you spend, then it's worth doing. So we can see here my skill's 100, I've got 77% chance to succeed. It doesn't mean it will, but that's it. So even at 100 level, which is a maximum, I can only have a 70% success with the chairs. Yeah, and all I got from it was a lumber, which is worthless. So what I'm now going to start making, and what I'm intending to make from now on, are these items, these straight stepping stumps. So to make that, I need 10 varnish and 2 petrified logs. Petrified logs can be bought for 500 mythology each, but I just buy them for 15,000 gil each. And varnish you can craft using alchemy. So if we look for it here, varnish. So to make varnish you need raw amber, linseed oil and terebinth. Terebinth you can buy from vendor, raw ambers from, obviously from mining. You can buy it quite cheap on the market board, and linseed oil is also crafted by alchemist, which requires flax, and flax is very cheap. Okay, so I've got my flax, so make linseed oil. Let's see, raw amber. Okay, so I'm going to need at least 20 of these because I need 10 varnish per go, and they are generally quite cheap to make, especially given the reward that comes out of them. So I need at least 20, so I'm just going to buy 99 again. I mean, it's something I could do. I could just spend hours gathering flaxes and raw ambers, just get as many as possible. And you can buy, like I said, the terebinth from a vendor, and then just pick up the petrified logs when you can afford it. So I'm just, for the sake of this video, I'm going to make some. Okay, so let's go to the vendor to buy some terebinth. And we'll see as well what my success rate is now that I'm 100 Carpenter. Now, one thing to note is that if you are level 50 of all crafts and you've got them all to the 2.2 level, then you can get all of the upgraded 2.3 crafting tools, but to do that you're going to need 80 Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs and something like 24 Master Dematerias, which I promise you will take a while. So even though, like in the last day I probably produced about 10 of these, but I need the money, so that I haven't actually been gathering them. But I'm hoping now that I've finished 100 that I can actually start gathering them. So anyway, as you can see, terebinths, they're only 60 gil each from vendor, which is wonderful. And now I'm going to craft the varnishes. So first I need 10 linseed oils. And thankfully they've already added quick synth to this game, so you can craft them as quickly as possible. So I guess for a while now all I'm going to be doing is gathering raw ambers and flax. Flax you gather from South Shroud, and I think raw ambers you gather from Eastern Fanalan. And the way to check is to simply go to your gathering log and look for them. So raw ambers, because it's a gem, it's always from mining. So if we look here, raw amber, raw amber. Okay, raw amber, level 44, East Fanalan is north of Camp Drybone. And if we look for the flax, I think it's this one. Let's see, flax, flax, flax. There you go, flax. South Shroud, Lower Pass. This area is right next to Camp Tranquil. Okay, so I've got the 10 linseed oils. Okay, so let's see here. Varnish. So this is the reason why it's considered incredibly cheap to desynth the stumps, because all you need are the petrified logs. So if anything, 30,000 gil for a chance of getting a 250,000 gil plus item is really cheap, and it's only 250,000 gil on my server. I mean, on other servers some people were saying they're worth millions of gil. Of course, the more people find out how to get them, then the more the price will go down. That's always the way it is, but it's good to take advantage of it now while it's still a good money maker. And when I make enough money, I've got a certain goal in mind for Gil. Then when I've reached that target, then I will go after the 2.3 tools with the spare Dematerias that I have. Because the good thing about this sort of thing, when you have the skill, then I can gather endlessly. The Terabimp will give me an infinite number of... Sorry, the vendor will give me an infinite number of Terabimps. And when it comes to gathering the raw ambers and the flaxes, that is also infinite number, because all I have to do is invest the time to gather them. Okay, so they're the 10 varnish. So let's now go and make the stump. So there we go, synthesize. And I've got a normal, the normal 3-star furniture macro will finish this off. I know it's not 3-star, but it's just a really quick way of getting it done. Okay, so there we go. So now that I've got this straight stepping stump, you saw how quick and easy it was to make and how cheap it is to make as well. So I'm going to desynthesize it, and what is wonderful about it is that now I'm skill 100, I have a 100% chance success rate of desynthing, so none of these will blow up. So every single gil spent, you can get at least a desynth. It's not guaranteed obviously to give you Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs, but the fact it has a chance and 100% success rate is what's really wonderful about it. So let's desynthesize. There we go. So in my case I only got some varnish, but they can produce one Fieldcraft Demateria IIIs. So usually when I do these things I will, you know, farm the mats for hundreds of those stumps and then just keep doing it until I've got a huge number of the Dematerias. So anyway, that's how to do level 100 desynthing to get your hands on Dematerias. And also as well, remember the fact that this allows you to then desynth the hard mode primal weapons. And one restriction there is in the game though is that you can only have 300 desynthesis levels, which means you can either pick 3 crafts and get them to 100, or you can do a bunch of them lower level, but the limit is 300 levels. So when you level up one above 300, then it will get one of your other crafts down, so you have to pick. In my case, I'm going to be doing, I've already done Carpenter as you can see, I've almost finished Goldsmith, and the last one I'm going to be doing is Blacksmith, just because there's so many good tools that require Blacksmith for desynth, and that's it. So that's what I would now call Master Desynthing. So anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and as always, goodbye from me, and goodbye from Mithrie.